Good evening and welcome back to another episode of The Longing, where we are going to be continuing to read the Iliad by Homer. So hopefully we will actually hit the end of one of the books so that we can reverse time, because we are very close to running out. But anyway, let's get going. Why with our wiser elders should we strive? The gods still love them, and they always thrive. Ye see, to Ajax I must yield the prize, he to Ulysses still more aged and wise. A green old age unconscious of decays, that proves the hero born in better days. Behold his vigour in this active race, Achilles only boasts a swifter pace. For who can match Achilles? He who can must yet be more than a hero, more than man. The effect succeeds the speech, Pelides cries. Thy artful praise deserves a better prize. Nor Greece in vain shall hear thy friend extolled. Receive a talent of the purest gold. The youth departs content, the host admire, the son of Nestor worthy of his sire. Next these a buckler, spear, and helm he brings. Cast on the plain, the brazen burden rings. Arms which of late divine Sarpedon wore, and great Patroclus in short triumph bore. Stand forth the bravest of our host, he cries. Whoever dares deserves so rich a prize. Now grace the lists before our army's sight, and sheathed in steel provoke his foe to fight. Who first the jointed armour shall explore, and stain his rival's mail with issuing gore. The sword Asteropaeus possessed of old, a Thracian blade distinct with studs of gold, shall pay the stroke and grace the striker's side. These arms in common let the chiefs divide. For each brave champion, when the combat ends, a sumptuous banquet at our tents attends. Fierce at the word uprose great Tydeus' son, and the huge bulk of Ajax Telamon. Clad in refulgent steel on either hand, the dreadful chiefs amid the circle stand. Lowering they meet, tremendous to the sight, each Argive bosom beats with fierce delight. Opposed in arms not long they idly stood, but thrice they closed, and thrice the charge renewed. A furious pass the spear of Ajax made, through the broad shield, but at the corslet stayed. Not thus Not thus the foe his javelin aimed above, the buckler's margin at the neck he drove. But Greece, now trembling for her hero's life, bade share the honours and surcease the strife. Yet still the victor's due Tydides gains, with him the sword and studded belt remains. Then hurled the hero, thundering on the ground, a mass of iron, an enormous round, whose weight and size the circling Greeks admire, rude from the furnace, and but shaped by fire. This mighty quoit Aeacian wont to rear, and from his whirling arm dismiss in air. The giant by Achilles slain he stowed, among his spoils this memorable load. For this he bids those nervous artists vie, that teach the disk to sound along the sky. Let him whose might can hurl this bowl arise, who farthest hurls it, take it as his prize. If he be one enriched with large domain, of downs for flocks and arable for grain, small stock of iron needs that man provide, his hinds and swains whole years shall be supplied. From hence nor ask the neighbouring cities aid, for ploughshares, wheels, and all the rural trade. Stern Polypoetes stepped before the throng, and great Leontius more than mortal strong, whose force with rival forces to oppose, uprose great Ajax, up Epeius rose. Each stood in order first Epeius threw, High o'er the wondering crowds the whirling circle flew. Leonteus next a little space surpassed, and third the strength of godlike Ajax cast. O'er both their marks it flew till fiercely flung, from Polypoetes' arm the discus sung. Far as a swain his whirling sheep-hook throws, that distant falls among the grazing cows. So past them all the rapid circle flies, his friends while loud applauses shake the skies. With force conjoined heave off the weighty prize, those who in skilful archery contend. He next invites the twanging bow to bend, and twice 10 axes casts amidst the round, 10 double-edged and 10 that singly wound. The mast which late a first-rate galley bore, the hero fixes in the sandy shore. To the tall top a milk-white dove they tie, the trembling mark at which their arrows fly. Whose weapon strikes yon fluttering bird shall bear these... Whose weapon strikes yon fluttering bird shall bear these two-edged axes terrible in war. The single he whose shaft divides the cord, he said experienced Merion took the word. And skilful Teucer in the helm they threw, their lots inscribed, and forth the latter flew. Swift from the string the sounding arrow flies, but flies unblessed, no grateful sacrifice. No firstling lambs unheedful didst thou vow to Phoebus patron of the shaft and bow. For this thy well-aimed arrow turned aside, erred from the dove, yet cut the cord that tied. Adown the mainmast fell a parted string, and the free bird to heaven displays her wing. Sea, shores, and skies with loud applause resound, and Merion eager meditates the wound. He takes the bow, directs the shaft above, and following with his eye the soaring dove, implores the god to speed it through the skies, with vows of firstling lambs and grateful sacrifice. The dove in airy circles as she wheels, amid the clouds the piercing arrow feels. Quite through and through the point its passage found, and at his feet fell bloody to the ground. The wounded bird, ere yet she breathed her last, with flagging wings alighted on the mast. A moment hung and spread her pinions there, then sudden dropped and left her life in air. From the pleased crowd new peals of thunder rise, and to the ships brave Merion bears the prize. To close the funeral games Achilles last, a massy spear amid the circle placed, and ample charger of unsullied frame, with flowers high wrought, not blackened yet by flame. For these he bids the heroes prove their art, whose dexterous skill directs the flying dart. Here too great Merion hopes the noble prize, nor here disdained the king of men to rise. With joy Pelides saw the honour paid, rose to the monarch, and respectful said, Thee first in virtue as in power supreme, O King of nations, all thy Greeks proclaim. In every martial game thy worth attest, and know thee both their greatest and their best. Take then the prize, but let brave Merion bear this beamy javelin in thy brother's war. Pleased from the hero's lips his praise to hear, the king to Merion gives the brazen spear, but set apart for sacred use commands the glittering charger to tell Thiebius' hands. And with that we do come to the end of the book, but we are also at the end of the episode, so we will have to pick this up and reverse time it tomorrow, I'm afraid. So with that said, I will say thank you very much for joining today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon or night. No matter what time of day it is, I hope you all have a wonderful one of it. And as always, we will be back tomorrow for more of The Longing. Goodbye.